While I was browsing Brandbright for the observation coach kit, I couldn't resist picking up something else as well. A S.E.S.R style Brakevan kit. Now, this one immediately reminded me of my Brakevan Freddy, the Brakevan that now works as a support van for Lynn, the American Baldwin engine. And yes, before anyone says it, you'd be forgiven for thinking Freddy himself is an American Brakevan, or Bobber, as he's also been called. Over the years, just about every member of Lynn's crew made that mistake at least once, including me. This new Brakevan, however, is going to be something a little bit different. Rather than copying Freddy's exact design, I'm modelling this one after a mid-Sodor Brakevan, keeping the same general design, but with a few key changes. The biggest one is that this van will be fitted with sprung buffers instead of the mid-Sodor style couplers. But more importantly, this Brakevan is being built with a very specific purpose in mind. This isn't just a guards van, it's a support vehicle. This will be used to carry the headboards for the Edrig locomotive project, along with spare parts, tools, and even things like extra coal if needed. Think of it less as a traditional Brakevan and more like the refrigeration wagon at Garness Yard, seen in my Shed Chronicles series. That's the inspiration for this project. Practical utility vehicle, rather than something designed to carry passengers. Because of that, there'll be no proper interior layout for this Brakevan. All there'll be is just a fixed lamp storage. But with that out of the way, let's get started. I began with the wall section, gluing the layered panels together. I'll be honest, this was probably the most confusing part of the entire build. The layering system takes a bit of getting used to, and at first it wasn't entirely clear how everything lined up. But once it clicked, it actually became pretty satisfying to do. With the walls assembled, I fitted the plexiglass windows, which immediately started to bring the van to life. As always, I moved on to the frames next. Sole bars were glued into place, followed by the buffer beams. It's a simple process, but it sets the foundation for everything next. And it was at this point I realised just how small this Brakevan actually is. Not a problem by any means, just one of those moments where you stop and go, oh, this is going to be compact. With the main components ready, everything went into the paint shop. The exterior received a coat of royal blue, the classic mid-Sodor railway look, while the interior was painted in cream to keep things bright and clean inside. Once the paint had dried, it was time to bring everything together. Normally a Brakevan would have seating for the guard, but in this case, space is far more valuable. Removing the seats gives us plenty of room to store stuff like headboards and other tools, as I mentioned earlier. Doing this turns the van into a proper mobile support unit, which is exactly what we were aiming for. Next came the metalwork. I soldered on a lamp iron to the front railing. This allows the Brakevan to carry either a lamp or a headboard when it's running at the rear of the train. It's a small detail, but adds a lot of functionality and realism. Then came the roof. Now, you might not know this, but I absolutely hate gluing roofs onto rolling stock in general. It's fiddly, awkward, and sometimes it just doesn't want to behave. To get the correct shape, I first had to soak the wood panel, then carefully glue it onto the roof supports and leave it to dry into shape. This is one of those processes that require patience more than anything else. The reason why this was so important is because the roof had to be removable so we could get to the headboards inside. While I was waiting for things to dry, I worked on the internal fittings. I installed a set of lamp irons inside the van, mounted onto a wooden board. These will be used to store 4 headboards and an S.E.S.R model's workbench truck. Without its wheels, it can be used as a work table. Once the roof had fully dried, I gave it a coat of paint and moved on to the final assembly. Next, the wheels were fitted onto the chassis. To finish everything off, the entire model received a clear coat varnish layer, protecting the paint and giving it a nice clean finish. After that, I attached the buffers, railing, and secured the roof. And with that, the Brakevan was complete and it was ready for a test run. Next time on Inside the S.E.S.R workshop, we re-gauge the two M.C.L.R coaches.